Come here. Come on. Come here.
Man, your dog is fucking up our recording, man. Shit, come on, man.
Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Hold on. Let me bring him on in. All right.
So today we have a special guest, a dog called Jackie. What's up, dog? Oh, and another dog.
Pablo. Hey there, Pablo. My name's Jackie. Hey, let's get serious here. Let's get serious.
Let's get serious.
So when we put this up, so we're recording right now, right?
Yeah, we're recording, man.
Can you edit it later?
No.
No. So I was gonna say you should put like you know like yeah, and then like
all the fireworks and shit.
Dad talk or whatever. Yeah.
Okay, so to get started or something like that, welcome everyone to this talk, this show. Probably I'm gonna put it all over social media. It's gonna be on what?
No. She's in her jammies, but look what my wife just brought me.
Woo-wee! Now we're talking.
Now we're talking.
My
wife says hello, by the way. She's a big fan. She knows all about you, man, because I tell her all about Uncle Pablo all the time. Yeah, we're gonna go to Mexico.
You guys got to come to Mexico City. I mean, you guys got a room. I mean, come on. We're waiting on you.
We got a room. All right, babe, get out of here. We're recording the podcast. Get out.
Well, say hello to her as well. Hello, how are you? What's going on?
All right, she's gone. It's okay.
All right. Now let's get serious. Now this is the man talk.
Yeah, man talk with my mimosa.
Yeah, right. Shit. You're mimosa, and then I'm drinking a scotch. Come on, man. Yeah. So I know we wanted to get together. You know, I mean, let me introduce you, everyone here. Let me introduce my friend, my brother, Joe Kalina. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
I like that. And see, you called me by my name that my friends and family call me by, because Joseph. Really? Yeah, Joseph is what I present on social media and when I'm talking to clients and stuff. But Joe, that's
you're family. Joe. I mean, even my wife knows you as Joe. I told her, hey, I'm gonna do a podcast with Joe, and I was like, oh shit, that's cool. Yeah. But you know, we've been talking. You know, we've been friends for a long time now, and I've been following him for years on social media, and we've done a podcast before, and we've done talks before. So everybody knows you. I mean, come on, everybody knows who Joe Kalina is. The Kalina brothers. I mean, you're a dad. You're a realtor, and more than that, man. I mean, shit. You're a strong figure. You know, a strong male figure, someone who look up to. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You're funny too. I mean, I remember the first time I started watching you and following you was through your videos. I always tell you that, right? The funny videos with you and your brother.
No, I didn't know that. Yeah, I didn't know
that. Love that, man. I was fucking laughing my ass off every time I watch it. I'm like, these motherfuckers is entertaining.
Yep. And it's funny because even with the funny videos, we take that shit very seriously.
Yeah, you get shit
I'm
done.
Glad that the humor transferred through that. So, yeah, Pablo, thanks for having me today. I know. So really, we're here today because not only are we good friends and we've been friends for a while, thanks to the internet. Thank you, Mark Zuckerberg.
True that.
There's some right. There's some good that comes out of the bad, right? And
we'll talk about that later, of course.
We'll talk about that. And so, you know, about 14 months ago, I had my first child, and that was a very crazy experience. And about 6 months after, how old's your baby girl now? How old is
3.5 months.
Oh, 3.5 months. So yeah, 3.5 months ago, Pablo, you had your first child, and you know, since we're homies, we're bros, and we're tight. Me and Pablo, occasionally, you and I talk about, you know, just how crazy it is being a dad, especially a new dad, and that's why we're having this podcast discussion today. Because
that's exactly.
Knowledge. Yes. Yeah. That's exactly. I think that there's a lot of people out there, just like me and Pablo, who are either new dads or going to be a new dad, you know, very soon. And it was a very scary thing. I mean, for the longest time, Pablo, I don't know about you, but I was the kind of guy where I said, I never want to have kids. Yeah. How was it for you?
It was the same shit, man. Before we get to that, I just want to reinforce that you know, we wanted to, I mean, we've been talking about it, the importance of being a dad, of becoming a dad. turning into a dad, because it's one thing just fucking and just, donating sperm and shit, but turning into a dad, it's a whole new experience, man. And the importance of dads in today's world and the importance of a male figure. We've been talking about that for so long, and that's why Joe had the wonderful idea to say, "Man, let's do a fucking recording," because we're talking all the time anyway. But he said he had this brilliant idea that let's record it, man. We should make a podcast out of this shit, or we should make just a video out of this shit, because this is very, very important. Like, real talk. This is not gonna be edited. That's why I told you I'm not gonna edit this shit. You know how I am. I'm raw. I'm drinking right now. I cuss. And it's just two friends having a friendly conversation, a man-to-man conversation, a dad-to-dad conversation with some dad jokes, by the way. I'm practicing my dad jokes. Shit.
Yeah. I told you I got a book. Lindsay got me a book for Christmas.
I need it.
Greatest dad jokes.
I need that. But before, so with that being said, man, I want to pass it to you, and I want to start, get the ball rolling on the importance of being a dad, on turning into a dad. But before that, talking about the importance of a male figure. How did that impact you? You've talked to me about your dad and some of the things that you want to change and transfer into your kid, and just how it all started with you, man. Because to me, it was the same thing. I didn't want to have a kid. I was the type of guy that said, we don't need more kids. We don't need more humans on this earth. And no, I don't want to have any kids. And then it all transformed. But first, I want to hear you, and then I'll pass it back to me, man.
Awesome, man. Yeah.
Cheers.
Yeah. So, it's just this revelation that's come into my mind over the years. I used to just be on that school of thought, like the world doesn't need any more humans. The world's too terrible to even have a human. I don't want that responsibility. I just want to be selfish and live for myself. But it's, I've realized over the years that the world is in dire need of not only dads, but father figures. If you are not going to be a dad, at least be a mentor or father-like figure to other people, or do good in your community. And one of the greatest ways of doing good for the community is showing the next generation the path. And since having a dad, my biggest realization is that it's not just about me. Like, you know how it is. Your time is not yours. My dad, and you don't have to, and here's the thing I don't want to get across with the podcast. You don't have to have a dad to be successful. Like,
not true.
Because I know some very successful people that didn't have a dad growing up, and there's people that could overcome that. But I think that, exactly. I'm talking to him. But I think to give your kids the best chance, you need to be there for them. And it's just very important. I know people who have had kids that I grew up with that completely abandoned their duty as a dad. It is very sad to watch. But I think it is one of the main passages into manhood, if we're talking about masculinity and manhood. But my dad, I'll just say a little bit about my dad, and then I'll hand it to you, Pablo. I don't want to take the spotlight too much. But my dad, he was so I did have a dad. I was lucky enough to do it. My parents got divorced when I was 3 years old. The way they got divorced, so it was fine though, because when you're that young, that's what you're used to. So to me, it was like a normal thing. It wasn't like a heartbreaking thing when I was that little. Luckily, my parents were cordial. They lived 20 minutes from each other my whole life, and they got along for the most part. So my dad, he instilled a lot of good and bad into me, and my job now as a dad is to identify both the good and the bad, and amplify the good and use those teachings for my kid Logan, and then eliminate the bad, or at least turn it down as much as I can.
Sounds fair, man. That. I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense. With me, I'm trying to do something completely different, man. I'm trying to embrace all the negative and turn it up as much as I can to confront it. Like the shadow work and all that shit. I want to pass that on to my kid, onto my daughter, because I used to think the same shit. The world is a scary place. It's all shit. We don't need more people because the world is ending. And then I realized that there's an agenda behind that line of thought, right? It was not really my thought. It's something sort of like a trend, right? That everyone talks about right now. People
Nihilism.
don't want to have responsibilities.
Nihilism.
We
Right?
see that, right? Even in relationships, people don't get married. People don't stay in long-term relationships. They jump from job to job and dream to dream, and they just don't commit. It's something that is happening in the current state of society. We can see it even with our phones. People can't focus on one thing for more than 5 minutes. Right? We are overstimulated.
Wait, what'd you say? What'd you say?
Well, I'm sorry, brother. What?
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And you see what I'm talking about. So I think that gets reflected on many or all other areas of life.
Yep.
Meaning marriage or parenthood and all that shit. So I started, the journey of healing myself, the journey of becoming a better version of myself. And that's when I realized, well, hold on a second. I actually do want to be a dad. I want to be a father. Not that I need it, because I was already a mentor. I was already doing. It's very important. What you just said is so crucial, man. It's very important. If you don't want to have kids, it's fine. It's not that you have to. You don't have to. It's great though, but you don't have to. But it is very important to pass on the torch to the next generation, the younger generation, because it's very important. They're the ones that are gonna continue bettering the world or making it worse. It is really up to us, because yes, I saw the condition of the world and I say, well, I can do something good with this. You know what I'm saying? And it's not that bad. And it's actually not that bad. It all depends on what you put attention to, right?
Yeah.
Of course, if you're watching the media, if you're watching the news, if you're following the mainstream and the common narratives, you'll probably end up depressed.
Yeah.
Fuck. I mean, you should be depressed.
I'll admit sometimes I myself fall victim to that, and then I have to check myself, be like, oh, wait a second. No. If I'm looking at my house and what's in here, everything's good. Like it's all good. And I know the world isn't just my house. Okay. I get that. No,
but it starts there.
But it starts there.
Exactly.
Starts there. And I feel like that's what a lot of the problem comes from, is that people want to change the world first before they focus on their own house.
Even themselves.
And that's, a principle from the Bible and a lot of whimsical material from history. And, that's why I'm so glad we're having this conversation, that you and I could be friends, because even though you and I are very similar, where like we have this path of self-discovery, you and I are very different too.
That's what's beautiful about it.
Yeah, exactly. When it comes to theology or different methods of how we're getting there, or but it's just it's a beautiful thing that you and I are able to rise above that.
And I think that's part of what we want to transfer onto the people that are going to listen to this or watch this, that you don't have to be the same, but we can have a friendly conversation, and we can, I see it when people have differences, the way that I see it, and something that I want to teach to my kids as well, because I want to have more kids, by the way. I don't know about you, but I'm probably going to have more.
I want to have one more. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want my daughter to be just a lonely kid. It's cool to have brothers or sisters, so, but something very important that I want to transfer is, it's okay to have differences, right? It's okay that you are pro Bible or Christian or Catholic or Jew or Muslim or that way, whatever the fuck, right? Or pro Trumper. Come on, man. It's okay, man. It's okay, because I think people just are focusing on being right. And it doesn't matter being right. it really does not matter if you're pro-vaxxer, anti-vaxxer. It really does not matter. What matters is to rise above the ego and see that there's common ground. We both have the commonality of wanting to better ourselves and the world, right? I mean, if you're really good people at our core, we don't want to fuck shit up. We want to actually make it better. Whether you think it's going to be through this mentality or this teaching or that, it really doesn't matter. What matters is that you can have the wisdom to say, okay, let me listen to you, then you'll listen to me, and then we'll create a third party, which is better, that has nothing to do with you, me. It's something better based on the commonalities, based on the common ground. I think that's what we need to do in the world, right? That we need to listen more to ourselves, to each other, and not to be right, not to say, you see, I was right all the time. I was right. I'm the one. Look at me. I was right. Y'all motherfuckers are idiots. I was right. No.
Reminds me of me and my wife sometimes. We gotta.
Oh man, tell me about it, man. Shit. But that's the beauty of marriage as well.
Right.
Yes. They're responsible. I mean, let me get back to that because that's very important as well.
Yeah.
Something that anyway, I was yeah, lots to talk about, man. Probably we'll have to do 2 or 3 episodes about this, but
we could just start a whole podcast up,
Yeah, the Dot Podcast.
Anybody listen, let us know a cool name. And
actually that's cool. That's cool. That's a good idea, man.
Dads, but make it sound cool. And there's a lot of all right, you go ahead first, and then
go. Okay, cool. So I was with that idea, and then I said, no, we have to do something beyond ourselves. Think above ourselves, right? It's not just about me, and it's not just about my experience, and it's not just about being happy, because that's what most people are focusing on right now. Your happiness, and it doesn't matter who you leave behind. Fuck y'all, it's all about me and my happiness, and that's why there's not a lot of long-term relationships. So the first thing that taught me selflessness was staying in a long-term relationship. I've been with my wife for 8-9 years, and it's hard. I mean, anybody will tell you it's fucking hard, because you have to find that common ground. Exactly what I was saying. Put it into action. Is one thing understanding it intellectually, but there's another thing actually put it into action, right? When you're in the middle of a fight, when you're in the midst of chaos, how you're going to find that middle ground, and how you're going to stay cool, because then that gets transferred onto your kids. And then even if you don't have any kids, that gets transferred on the younger generation. Maybe you're an uncle, maybe you're an auntie. You're passing on that energy, that mentality onto others unknowingly. What Joe and I are talking about is we're doing it consciously. We consciously decided to pass this on to our kids, right? We decided to leave our legacy through our kids and our work as well. So I said, fuck it, I'm going to have a kid. And it was beautiful. It was beautiful, but it's crazy. Just like you said, man, it is so crazy, crazy.
It's the hardest thing. It's the hardest thing I've ever done in my life.
Man,
it's the hardest thing I've ever done in my life.
Hands down. It's the hardest thing. I thought I had my shit together. I thought I was already like, oh man, I'm so wise. I'm the shit. I got everything figured it out. And then boom, I got a slap in the face. Like, oh,
I read like 5 different baby books. I took a baby class. None of that shit prepared you.
No, none of it. I took all the courses, and none of it prepares you, man.
I'm so glad though that you talked about one of the first foundations to it, which is being in a mature long-term relationship.
Mature relationship, yeah.
Because again, I was the kind of guy in my teens and even in most of my 20s where I thought I would never get married. I thought,
me too.
Fuck marriage. Like, if that's what society wants me to do, fuck it, I'm not gonna do it, And I really when Lindsay and I first started dating, you could ask her. I was not the same person. I was an asshole. She would probably say I'm still kind of an asshole, which I can be. But
well, you have to be a little bit in order to the marriage to survive. Yeah, you have to.
Sure. Gotta lay the hammer down sometimes. But I told her when we first started dating, I said, "Hey, just so you know, even though we're dating, I'm never gonna get married. Just so you know." Now here we are. But
and then
yeah. But I just got done reading a really good book that I found. So since I've embraced this role of masculinity and being the head of my household, right? Because that is the man's job. Sorry, feminists out there, sorry, I'm not sorry, but that's just the way it is.
That's something that we want to talk about as well.
That's the truth. And if you argue with that, then talk to single moms out there and see,
And to a shrink.
Right. Yeah. So I just got done. Well, when I started embracing this role, I started looking for different groups online and podcasts and men's groups through Facebook and Instagram. And I found several different groups like that are committed to helping other dads become better dads. I actually did a podcast last week. I think I told you about it. It comes out.
Yeah, you told me.
I did it this week. Cool. It comes out next week. I'll share it on social media.
That's amazing.
But I found this one guy. I can't remember his name. I think I got it written right here. His name was doesn't matter what his fucking name was, but the book the book is called Black Belt Husbands. And the guy is a psychologist and a licensed counselor, marriage counselor. And his idea was that there's not enough men that are counselors out there for marriages. And he's not putting down women counselors. He's just saying that it's easier for a man to empathize with another man when it comes to certain things.
Yeah. And man. Fuck.
Black Belt Husband, it's a great book. I recommend it to anybody who's listening to this because it's a pretty short book, only less than 200 pages, but it just talks about how really the foundation of being a good dad comes from being a good husband. And the book has all these exercises and things to bring to your conscious mind about the way to handle, really about communication with your wife. And it's cool. He compares the buildup to jujitsu. So he starts from white belt, goes to cool. Green belt, blue belt, yellow belt, brown belt, black belt, all that.
That's so cool, man.
Yeah. And it's cool because it starts with the core, which is you, and you've got to know what you want and what's important to you. And you have to be stern and communicate that first. And then you can move on to the next step, which is communicating with your wife. And then
it's corny as it sounds, it all starts with you, right? How can you fall in love with anybody else if you don't love yourself? I mean, it sounds corny. Everybody talks about it, yet nobody or very few people get to experience it, right?
Pablo, you sound like a narcissist. Are you a narcissist? You mean you love yourself? That's narcissistic.
Yeah, I'm a selfish prick. That's for damn sure. I wouldn't have myself any other way. Yeah, you have to be selfish, right? You have to be selfish, but positively selfish. I want to bring back to, because what you just said remind me of the being a dad and all that. The topic of masculinity is something that I wanted to talk about today, and I want to put out there because I think we don't have enough strong male figures in today's society. And look at the world today. Yeah, I mean, if we had enough strong males, we wouldn't be having this type of shit. We wouldn't be having these problems, man. We have a lot of pussies. I mean, I can't say it any other way. And if you don't like it, then you sure as hell don't belong in this podcast or in this show, because we don't have enough male figures that are showing up. That are keeping the whole household together, or we don't have examples of what it means to be a true man. Enough of them, because I grew up without a father, right? My father died, and that's how it started for me. I started asking myself, what does it mean being a man? What the fuck does that even mean? Because I had nobody, man, and I told you this before. I had nobody. I talk about it on my seminars. I talk about it every time I'm in a conference. Every time I say this out loud, because I'm proud that I discovered and I really started studying psychology, coaching, hypnosis, neuro-linguistic programming, basically everything I could get my hands on to understand the psyche and the psychology behind masculinity and even the spiritual side of it, right? I was so into that because I grew up without any male figure. I mean, my brother is 5 years older than me, so pretty much he didn't know shit, pretty much, right? So I was on that path, And that's how I started evolving into, all right, yeah, it's if more if more young kids, whether it's a daughter or a son, had in their household a present male figure, maybe a lot of the things, a bunch of problems would dissipate. Not because the male is better than the female. I'm talking about the whole dynamic between male and female, and together how that the child absorbs. It's very important, man. Literally, this comes in straight psychology. This
Yeah.
has nothing to do with being one better or the other one.
Yeah.
It's important for a kid to grow with that, right?
The way I say it is, the male and the female are inversely proportional. So
Absolutely, exactly.
we're equally important, but on opposite sides, inversely proportional. And then in the middle is where the magic happens.
Yeah,
right? With raising a kid. And
I actually have a tattoo right here. This is called Ometeotl, but you see it's swirling, and it's the black and white. It's like the yin and the yang, but from my ancestors. And basically what it represents is these both energies repel each other and at the same time attract each other. So it's a dichotomy, right? So in this push-pull dynamic, it creates an energy, it creates a swirl, boom, 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 because they are repelling and attracting each other, and it creates an energy, and it creates a third party, it creates a third force that is basically creation itself. It's what made my daughter, it's what made you and I to exist, right? Because of these opposites, this opposite sex, these opposite energies, you and I exist. And people in today's society, wouldn't you agree that now I wouldn't call it sacredness, but the importance of masculinity and even femininity, it's getting lost. I think people just are losing respect for it. They're thinking, it's not important, man. Fuck the male supremacists. And we're not talking about the moral or even the social and the sexual meaning of masculinity. We're talking about something deeper that we don't see in the current state of society. And I don't know what you think about that.
It's being suppressed. It's being discouraged. Right? It's being discouraged because you don't want to be
demonized.
A bigot, right? A bigot. That word's so funny. It's so overused by my liberal friends. Which it's funny because a bigot, the definition is somebody who doesn't see another's point of view. So by calling me a bigot, that kind of makes you a bigot.
Yeah, but doesn't it?
It's an oxymoron in itself.
Everyone there, everyone out there, you have to study etymology, because when you know the roots and you learn the roots of words, you become a master of communication.
Sure. So they take this thing, masculinity, make it, they demonize it, discourage it, and they push for extreme feminism, like not even true feminism. It's more this, I don't know, but now it's even becoming something else with the transgender movement, where this really needs to be talked about.
Yeah, don't even get me started.
Maybe you and I will get canceled, or maybe we'll get hung for it. We'll get lynched for talking about it, but it needs to be talked about because people are too scared. But this is really dehumanizing all humans in general, and it's a very strange phenomenon that just, to me, is a slap in the face to both masculinity and feminism.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, it's people are disrespecting themselves by trying to make equal the beautiful differences between a male and a female. Not only in gender, but just the energies are different. Let me give you an example. And I always talk about this. I've done online courses, master classes, seminars on this. Something as simple to try to understand and grasp on a very superficial level the energy behind masculinity and femininity, right? Thoughts are feminine. Words are masculine. The actual action of speaking that thought that you have in your mind, it's a masculine characteristic. Creating the thought, nurturing the thought, and creating it inside of you, that's a female characteristic. Just a glimpse of how important these both energies are. And I think you just said it beautifully. It's yeah, we can talk about demonizing masculinity all day.
Right.
A lot of people are being scared. They're scared. Young people, right? Young males, they are scared of being a man now because it's getting demonized. And young women right now, I think they're getting a wrong idea of what it means to be a woman. Right? They're growing up with a lot of hatred towards men, and even I think towards themselves, not knowing why, simply because, yeah, I mean, maybe in the past it was really bad. We're not discussing that. Maybe, yes, of course, but we cannot talk about that without saying the importance of men and male figures in the world and in history. Yes, there's a bunch of idiots out there. I mean, but we're not talking about that, because if we continue on that negative narrative, then we start the whole deal on how we started this talk of, I'm not having a kid because the current state of the world is shitty. So yeah, if you focus on the negative, of course everything is shit. Literally everything is shit. But when we're focusing on the good things, we need more male figures. And I know for damn sure that there's a lot of young people out there that would benefit tremendously from having both a good man in the house and a good woman, right? Like a good parent, good, the mom and the dad, both of them present. Not, no one is perfect. I'm not going to be a perfect dad. You're not a perfect dad. Probably your wife, she's not a perfect mom. My wife is not a perfect mom. But the relationship, how we build it, and both being present for a kid, I think that sets the foundation for growing up. I mean, better. There's no, literally, it has to be said. There's no other way around it, because I think there's a lot of psychologists and a lot of bullshit out there that, oh well, you can grow up. You said it. You don't have to have a dad to be great. No, but I know myself. I would have been way better if I grew up with a dad. I would have been even shit, maybe the president of Mexico right now, or I don't know. So it is very important, and there's no way around it. No way around it. Especially now that I'm a dad, I'm studying way more the psychology behind the importance of just the brain, how it absorbs and how it develops. The brain of a child, the brain of a toddler, how it develops, not by you consciously speaking to him or her like, hey, I am your dad and it is important that you have a dad. No, they just, by watching you, just the energy, just the presence of a dad,
just the presence,
that they develop way better.
And for you, I would argue that the stakes are a little bit higher for you, because the difference between you and me with our kids is you have a daughter. And
oh fuck yeah.
A daughter's relationship with her dad, I would say, is almost more important than a son's relationship with their dad, because daughter, all right, I'll go back in time a little bit.
Yeah.
When Lindsay and I first started dating, I could tell that, okay, this is a girl who has a good head on her shoulders. And when I finally, after a few months of us dating, when I finally met her dad, I could tell that her and her dad had a really solid, good relationship. And I mean, she has a great relationship with her mom too. I'm not discrediting her mom, but I'm just saying her and her dad, she is her daddy's girl. And I think we've all dated. I mean, I'm sure you've dated people before your wife, right? Like, you're not gonna get in trouble.
Yeah, of course. Goddamn.
We've all dated girls who've had daddy issues.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying, there's a trend there,
Right? I mean, come on. We've all been there, and they're crazy as shit. I mean, come on.
That shit crazy, And I mean, they have their place in the world, and I'm not saying
not with me though.
I'm not saying women can't overcome.
Yeah, I mean,
but I'm just saying that the odds are more in their favor as becoming a productive member of society in their adult life if they have an established, good, healthy relationship with their father.
Yeah, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful if you have a healthy relationship with your father, which I believe it's something a little bit strange in the world nowadays. It's not common, at least, right, to have a healthy relationship with your father. It's not common. You don't see it that often. I mean, you were lucky enough to find her. I mean, she's a fucking diamond, right? But it's kind of difficult to find someone who has a good relationship with their father. It's the common trend now is that, oh, they left, they left, or he was drunk, or he was some bullshit like that. And I, you said it, man. There's not enough counseling for men, because I don't think there's enough people or enough men asking themselves what it means to be a man. It's just like silently understood, right? Well, you're a man. You have to be a man. Well, yeah, what the fuck did I even mean? To be a man is not to show emotions, or to be a man is not to cry. To be a man is just to be strong. Well, what does that even mean? What does strong mean, right? And you and I have problems. I mean, we cry. We have emotions as well. And me now as a father, I started also trying to find out groups or something like that, and I couldn't find enough people attacking this problem of masculinity on how to build ourselves up as male figures, as true father figures, right? I think it's just something that it's understood. Well, you're a father, you're a man, and just be a man. What the fuck does that even mean?
You just kind of brought up a talking point I wanted to say, which is the false perception of what it takes to be a man. And that goes back to my dad. So he lived with the idea that we don't show emotion, we don't cry, we don't do, and like that's how me and my brothers were raised. And we literally like weren't able, even though I'm not saying my dad was a bad dad, but there were things that I'm going to do a lot differently that he did with me and my brothers. So one of the main things, was his perception of man, and still is, he's still a stubborn bastard. Like him and I,
man, those older generations
all day, but we love each other, but his perception of being a man is still like just being, not showing emotion, not crying, being a smart ass, always being right. Like that's his stubborn. Old school. And one thing that I need to exercise with my son and my other kids, if we have any, is patience. So he did a terrible job with patience. And let me tell you how. So whenever we would do things, like he would show us, like he would always be like, no, you're doing it wrong. Everything was always wrong. And he would come in there, and whatever I did, he would come in and redo everything. So this came to every little task, whether it was like something as simple as cleaning my room, like vacuuming, I'd be doing it wrong. He'd come in with the vacuum. Or if it was something as complex as like, building a model or something, like everything was wrong. And he would always come in and like do it better. And, after, when you live and grow up like that, then for me, it made me not care about doing anything because everything I did was wrong. So it was like, oh shit, well, fuck it. And I think that's kind of, well, my story. I was, I was a punk rocker and I played in a band for a while. And I think, and it was a fun time, don't get me wrong. But I think a lot of that teenage angst and rebellion came from that type of thing, right? Like it was like, oh, okay, I can't do anything right, so I'm gonna play the drums and rock the fuck out. Fuck you, fuck everybody, Be
a rebel,
rebel,
That's like 20 years of therapy, man, and you just said it in an instant. That's what's up.
I just unpacked that box, and I'll tell you who I have to thank for helping me recognize that I need to get in touch with my emotions and my and vocalizing what's on my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know who I have to thank for that?
No.
Lindsay, my wife. She, through her feminine wisdom, she is the one who, over the years, like I was terrible at communicating when we first started dating. I didn't like say shit. Like if anything was on my mind, I didn't say it because that's kind of how I was raised. Like, talk about our fucking feelings. But Lindsay has taught me so much and gotten me to realize that no, it's better not only for our relationship and for her, but for everybody around me to like say what's going on.
that's the beauty of long-term relationships. That's why I emphasize that it's very important. I mean, you don't have to get married. I'm not married in the normal way with my wife, right? We're married in a different, with a, with our own ceremonies, with our own beliefs and shit, but we're married, right? We have a sacred spiritual bond. And that's the beauty of long-term relationships, because you're supposed to better the other person, right? I know that I bring the best and the worst in my wife, and I know that she benefits from having me around, and I know that I've grown so much because of her. When I first started, we're so similar, man. I said it at first. I was doing pickup when I was first started dating her. I was like, oh, I'm a pickup artist. You know that, and she was like, yeah, okay, all right, whatever the fuck that even means. So, uh, she 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 in a way allowed me to grow up a lot, and I think that's the beauty of a good solid relationship, that you allow the space for your partner to grow up, to be more mature. She makes us, or they make us, more mature as males. We grew up as males, and I know that because of us being a better male, they are also better females. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
it's both ways. But I was the same. I told her I don't want to get married. I don't want to have any kids. And then boom, look at me, man.
Look at you
And
now.
I'm better because of it. I'm better.
Yeah.
I was the type of guy that I was always angry, always looking a fight, always trying to pick up a fight. I would punch the wall. I'm like, "Ugh," and get all fucking Hulk. And, fuck this shit. And then I realized, no, no, no. Through the power of good femininity, I was like, oh, you know what? It doesn't have to be like that. He doesn't have to be like that. And I'm still the strong male figure of the family.
Sure.
But so that's very beautiful that you got to experience that. And I don't think enough people allow themselves to even experience that, because the moment the shit hits the fan, the moment the relationship gets serious, oh, they drop it.
Dude,
Oh, it's not for me. I don't want to have any responsibilities. Oh, no, fuck it, man. It's just it's too much hassle. So no, 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 man. You have to stick with it.
I've seen it growing up. People abandon their post. People abandon their post as fathers. People I've known, and then recently, people who I know, friends and people very close to me, have gotten divorced, who have gotten
Yeah,
married around the same time me and Lindsay, and they're falling into the statistic,
it's a
of
trend.
not of choosing to not work it through, because it is a choice, and
It is a choice. It is a
we
choice
all
of
fuck
you.
up. Don't get me wrong, like
Yeah,
that's but it's a choice to power through that and make yourself, both of you, even stronger out of that.
exactly. You can change. We all have the possibility to change, to transform ourselves, and to become better. I mean, I think the path of becoming a better version of yourself, it's a lifetime process. It's not something that you achieve and then, oh, there it is. I have obtained it. I don't have to do anything else.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, it's a constant process, right? Because you change all the time. Your body changes, your mentality changes. You're changing all the time. But it's very beautiful that you have a partner, man. And imagine if you abandon your post with your kid right now. So having that, I mean, the way that I see it, and I wanna know your thoughts on this. And I said this to my wife when she was pregnant. Said the most important thing of being a parent is our relationship first, because I think I grow my own food, right, and I see it like that. I see the same. I see the similarities. It don't take that much for me to grow food, right? The seed already carries all the information of the tomato, right? I don't have to teach the tomato how to be a tomato. It's already the information is there. What it needs good ground. It needs dirt, if that makes sense. It needs a good space where it can grow, lay its roots, and then grow. And then what it needs love, which in this case I represented as the sun.
The
The sun
sun.
gives the
Yep.
love,
Yep.
and then the nurturing or the food, it's the water, right? Yeah, my
Yeah.
daughter needs food, needs energy. Boom. So I'm watering her. So
She
I don't
depends.
have to teach her
Depends.
that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll pass it back to you, but I don't,
Depends.
I don't think that I have to teach her how to be a daughter. Like, I'm gonna teach you. So I said to my wife, you know what we need to focus on is not how to bring up a good daughter, and you need to be a good daughter, and you need to be a good human being. No, 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 no. She'll, we need to allow her to experience life on her own, whatever the fuck she wants to be. But the most important thing, at least for us, is our relationship, because it lays the foundation where she can grow into whatever the fuck she wants to grow up to be, right? And
Yeah.
if my wife and I are bad, man, there goes the daddy issues.
Right. Like that. Well, I've been reading books too on parenting um, and all that. And if you are not in a good, solid relationship with your significant other, even if you pretend like you are, your kid is going to know if you're full of
Oh
shit.
yeah,
And
yeah,
once they
totally.
grow up and they realize it, then they're going to realize, okay, so all these values and things that they taught me weren't real. So
It's
fuck it
bullshit.
anyways. Yeah.
Yeah,
Even if you're together. And then I've heard of
true that.
a really big cause of divorce is, not only finances, okay, but you can get over that, is but the other one is when they put their child above their relationship. Then
Mm.
when the child graduates high school or goes off to college or moves out of the house, then there's all of a sudden somebody married for 20 years and then they get divorced because the kid,
Yep.
their whole life that was up here.
It was what was holding them together, right? So
Yes.
you stick it out, and then, oh, there's no reason for me to be with you. No,
Yeah.
no. So you just said, yeah, it's important that your relationship is solid and strong.
Dude.
But it's
And
funny that I mean, I don't know what you think about this, man. But even when my wife was pregnant, I mean, I get it. I fucking get it. All the attention goes to the woman, of course. I mean, they have it tough. Can't say that, right? We can't say otherwise. But there's really no like support towards man, right? Like nobody gives a fuck about, oh yeah, whatever, right? Even in the hospital, or they're like, yeah, get the fuck out of here, move out of here. I'm like, hey, motherfucker, I'm the father, man. Shit, I was so angry that day in the hospital. I'm like, I was about to punch him in the face, like, hey, I'm the father, god damn it.
Yep.
But
Oh,
there's like a disregard towards fathers, and I get it. We hands down to women, they're beautiful, and it's very fucking hard. They're breathing life. They're the portal between the spiritual and everything. But wouldn't you say that there's not enough like supports for males, or what do you think about that?
well, first of all, there definitely isn't, which is more or less why we're doing this podcast.
Exactly.
But second of all, you and I had a conversation the other day, and you sent me something about, well, there's a lot of bullshit going on in the world right now. The big thing that everybody's focused on is the Ukraine and Russia
Yeah.
invading, and it's a fucking mess. But
Yeah.
anyways, you sent me something that was very wise, and it was a meme that said, instead of focusing on the problems happening all over the world, instead focus on the community and what good you could do in the community. And I responded and told you that's why I've gotten back into church lately and supporting my local church, because whether you are for Christianity or not, it's hard to deny when there's a good church that's doing local,
it's a community,
good for the community.
Yeah.
And so in the year 2020, that's the year when Lindsay was pregnant all year and had Logan at the very end of the year, I joined a small group, and it was specifically for men's leadership with
Cool.
The premise of Christian values. And it was cool because during the entire process, half the guys in the group, it was about 10 guys, and half of them in the group were dead already. And they were all more or less our age.
Yeah.
But it was cool because I did have that during that time.
That's great, man.
Even though everybody else, nobody give a shit about the dad, that's very true. But at least I had that to fall back on, and that was a very cool time of my life to have that. It was like the right place at the right time,
That's awesome. That now you can transfer that onto others, because I didn't have that, man. I didn't see any board groups and anything like that.
Right?
But what?
Were y'all completely on lockdown when you were?
Yeah, all that bullshit. Yeah, but
Pablo, you had me, bro.
Well, yeah. Well, actually, yeah. You taught me a lot, man. You gave me a couple of good fucking advice. Like, hey, you know what? Don't pay attention to anybody.
Yeah, yeah. They'll
everyone,
all give
everyone
you.
wants to teach you
Here's the
something.
advice. They're all gonna give you advice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everyone's gonna try to teach you something. I'm like, well, you're right. You're right. Even now, but I see it, and I think that's the importance of fatherhood. Of, you know, you don't have to be the attention of the household, but you know that you are very important, even without, you know, having the spotlight. Like, hey, look at me, and I think that's very important to teach onto others as well. You don't have to be all the time to be recognized. It's important to be recognized, but it's important that you are okay and that you know that you're strong and you know that you can keep it together, even when no one is watching you. Because it really does not matter what you do when everyone is watching you, because everyone puts their best behavior when everyone's being watched. But when nobody's watching you, what do, right? So I think that's a male characteristic to keep in hand. And remember, those male characteristics can be applied also to a woman. That's why I'm all this shit that I'm talking about, I'm gonna teach to my daughter, or at least I'm gonna pass it, you know, in one way, form of another. All these values that it's important, you know, to another thing that I see being important as being a man or having a man present is we're action driven, right? To take action, not just to talk about all this shit, because we're talking about it, but you and I we make shit happen. We're not just talk, which is something that we see in the world today. There's a lot of talk. How many? I don't even know how many coaches are out there now. There's gotta be like millions of counselors and coaches and mentors, and I'm gonna teach you how to be a man. But then when you actually hire them, you're like, what the fuck? You don't know shit. You don't walk or talk. And that's why my I don't know about you, but my circle is very tight, because I know there's a lot of bullshit out there, and I don't, I mean, I talk to everybody. Don't get me wrong, I'm social, but
Yes. Yes.
I don't open up because I only hang around with real motherfuckers. So that's a compliment to you.
It's funny. Yeah, no doubt, man. So do you remember the fire pit that I built? You know, the fire.
Yeah.
That was like my pride and joy. That was like last year. Yeah, last year was 2021. So 2020, my goal was to have a baby, but 2021, my goal was to build a fire pit, like a legit fire pit area in my backyard. And I sent you the photos.
Can't wait. I can't wait to be there.
Yeah, when you pass through Georgia, you know, you got a place to stay too, you and your wife.
Thank you.
And but when I built this thing, and it was a lot of work, and I built it all myself, looked up a bunch of YouTube videos, did the research, bought the materials, and it was cool to build something with your hands, you know, like, and
I love
do some hard labor, you know. Yeah, and I sweated a lot. It was October in Georgia, and it was like fall, so it was cold, but the week when I decided to install this thing, it was 95 degrees in Georgia all of a sudden in October. I was like, what the fuck? Okay. But it was cool. Anyways, when I finished the fire pit, I really wanted to have friends over and have a fire, And I made the fire. I realized I was going through my phone, and I realized something. I don't have any fucking friends. There's no friends to share with.
Oh man,
which is all good because I don't need them. All I need is my invisible friends. But I've had family over and stuff, and it's been very cool. But I realized, like, holy shit, I don't have that many friends. I don't.
That's cool, man. I think real people don't have the realest people don't have as much friends, as many friends, because we're real, you know, and we don't vibe with phony people, or at least I don't.
You know, or like. Yeah, and I'm friends with everybody. Like
we're social.
I'm friendly, social, and I can talk to anybody. I could be at the
especially being a salesman.
Yeah. But you know, you just got to be very selective with who you give your energy to. And it's like something you said before about, you know, your relationship with your wife is that you see the best, and they get to see the best and the worst in you. Yeah. And I think somebody seeing the worst in you is a privilege that only you get to share with people that you choose, right? Like my brothers, I know the worst of them. They know the worst of me, but we're brothers, and my brothers pretty much are like my best friends. So
that's cool.
But I don't want to give the privilege of this motherfucker over here. I don't want to give him the privilege of seeing the worst of me, because he doesn't deserve to see that side.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people that would use it in a bad way, every time they see you, like opening up and all that shit. But you just said it. The word is being selective. And there's nothing wrong with being selective. That means that you know your boundaries because you know yourself and you know who you want to hang around with and who you don't want to hang around with. That's very important. And I just remember the video that I sent you. It said, don't think globally, act locally, right? I just remembered. Don't think globally, act locally. That's very important. I'm going backwards because I just remember, man. Yeah, we have to act locally, and then that's how we get to change the world. But if you would have to pick one, maybe even two values or teachings or something that you want to pass on to your kid, what would that be, man? Drink a lot.
No, 1 to 2 values I would pass on to my kid.
There's a lot of things that you want to pass on and that you'll probably pass on, but I've been thinking that lately. What's the main thing that I want my daughter to have from me?
Well,
how would I like to be remembered by Harry? So
you reminded me of and I'm going back to church here, Pablo. I'm taking you to church. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Oh, amen. Amen. That means because they're talking about a man. Amen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So the lead pastor at my church, Andy Stanley, he's a very wise guy, and he's not a wise guy, he's just a wise guy, But
get very phenomenal.
Wise guy. But he's very phenomenal speaker, and they had a series of sermons last year before last year, right before we had Logan. Actually, it was all about raising your kids, and it was perfectly timed because that's when Lindsay and I were about to have Logan. And he was talking about just how to simplify raising your kid in your household. And one of the main things that us parents do is we overcomplicate things, of course.
Oh, for real.
And we do that as humans. And when it comes to rules in the house, he found that the best way was to simplify the rules into just 2 rules. And I really like these. So this isn't mine. I told you who did it because I could have pretended and taken credit.
I did it myself. No, that's why you're not friends. Fuck.
Exactly. So the 2 rules were rule number 1 was honor your mother, and rule number 2 was don't lie. And I'll explain those. So honor your mother means that your mom is the matriarch of the household. What she says goes, and you do not bypass that. So for example, if you always go up to your mother and ask her if you could do something or if you cannot do something. If you ask your mother, Mom, can I go out and play with my friends? If she says yes, you can go out and play. But if she says no, what you do not do, you do not go behind your mother's back and come up to Dad and say, hey, Dad, can I go play outside? Because if you're going under the radar and bypassing Mom when she just told you no, then you're plotting your parents against each other. So the fact that you even tried to do that, you're going to get in trouble because you did not honor your mother's word there. Because if I say that, yes, you can go play outside, but your mom just told you can't, then that's not congruency within parenting.
And I guess it goes both ways as well, right? I mean, if your kid asks you something and then she says, no, you can. And then you just said no.
It goes both ways. Yes.
Right. Yeah.
It does go both ways. Right. But always honor your mother, and you don't lie in the house. You never lie. So, right. Because lying is just not something you do with people you trust. It creates distrust. So his daughter, he's told a funny story about how he just bought this brand new like Corvette or Ferrari or something. He bought some hot rod car, and he was so excited, and he parked it in his garage. And his daughter, she often liked to draw on the walls and stuff and got in trouble. So he parked his brand new car, and she's like, Daddy, look, I made some art. And she brought him out. He's like, what do you mean? And she brought him out to the car, and she had keyed the whole car.
God damn shit.
Like had a quarter or something and made all these sketches. And he was furious, but he said he could not punish her because she had not broken any rules. She didn't dishonor her mother or anything, and she didn't tell a lie. She told the truth. She's like, hey Dad, I did something to your car.
Hey, look, it looks better now, your ugly ass car.
And that's why I'm starting to get gray hair. No.
Oh man, that's why I'm losing. Nah, I'm not losing any hair. I was losing some fucking eyebrows though, but shit.
I remember that. Yeah.
No, but now it's all cool.
What do you have? 2 or 3?
Man, I have a lot. I have a lot,
right?
In my case, I would narrow it down to just maybe one, which is be a person of your own experience. Because I think the world has a lot of motherfuckers that will try to teach you or persuade you or just trying to tell you what's supposed to be like, right? Mm-hmm. We have enough people doing that, whether it's through the internet or uncles or even myself, trying to teach her how to be. In my case, I don't want to teach her anything. I don't want to raise her. I want to cultivate her so that she can become whoever she wants to be. Whoever it's already, because I'm spiritual. I don't go to church. I'm not Christian, but I'm very, very spiritual. And in all native cultures, all native spiritual cultures, I'm talking about the Native Americans, the Druids, how it all started, the core of all the bone of spirituality in all cultures. They always talk about and this has to do even with the physics, that energy can't be created nor destroyed. It only transforms itself. So the spirit of my daughter, it's not something that I created. I didn't create a spirit. It came to her, or I allowed her to create this vessel, this flesh vessel, so that spirit could come down onto her. So it already carries certain information within her, and I don't want to taint her. And the world already carries a lot of people trying to place unnecessary baggage onto you. So the main thing I'm probably going to teach her or pass on to her is be a person of your own experience. And with that alone is teaching her a lot of shit, which is being free, being real, right? Because if you're a person of your own experience, you're not malleable. You're not prone to be manipulated, and you're true to your heart. So because I want to experience it, don't talk about it. Let me experience it, and then we'll see if it's what you're saying is true. Because you can talk about all the things that you want, but unless I put it into my own persona, into my own essence, it might, what works for you might not work for me. And what works for them might not work for us. So it's this whole thing that we're all people of our own experience. And through that's how we evolve, I think, because I fucking hate seeing this, like who's right, who's wrong, I'm better, you're worse, and, the moral ground out there, the higher moral ground. No, fuck that. That's you, let me do me. That's what
I'm morally superior than you. I'm going to write this comment.
Yeah.
So if you want her to...
I want to say something. No, go ahead. Go ahead, and then I want to say something that you mentioned.
If you want her to be her own experience.
What the fuck are you gonna say?
Are you gonna let her pick her gender?
Oh! Of course. I mean, I don't have to agree with that, right? I don't have to fucking agree with that, and that's the ground. that's something good. It's funny, but yeah, because we talk about that. My wife and I. Yeah. I recently worked with a non-binary model, and I was like, you saw the stories, right? And I was like, wow.
Yeah. I mean, it looked interesting. It looked very artistic and cool, But
yeah, it was kind of shitty, man. Yeah. I can't deal with them. It's no offense to them, but it's just not who I am, and I respect them. The respect is there, but it's not there. It's not. There's no chemistry. I'm not in that world, and I don't fucking understand it. The moment you say I'm non-binary, you're actually binary, because there has to be what the fuck does it mean binary? It's two, so you're creating a division. I'm non-binary. Well, by definition, you are dividing, so you're
they really here's the thing about those. All right, I'm just going to go on a tangent real quick. Here's the thing about those liberals, man. And yes, I am saying you far liberals. Yes, I'm calling you guys out. Is that they've backed themselves into a corner, because at first, you know, when we were growing up, or like in the 2010s or whatever, it was born this way, right? Yeah, it was born this way. You're born this way or you're not. But now it's identify. So the big dilemma is, are you born that way, or do you identify it that way?
Yeah.
Now you're contradicting. So
yeah, exactly.
It's a big, big fucking contradiction.
It's a contradiction, actually. Yeah.
And, but anyways,
but I was before we talked about that. Yeah. So if she wants to be that, she wants to identify herself as a dog. Who am I to tell her that's wrong? I mean, it's like, I don't agree with you, daughter. You know, her name is Maya. I don't agree with you, Maya. I think you're batshit crazy. But if that's truly who you are consciously, and you're following your heart, not because you heard it from someone else, not because it's a trend, not because you want to be perceived by your peer group, not because of all these nonsense and bullshit and social pressure. If it's truly coming from you and your heart, and that's the path that you want to follow, I don't agree with it, but I respect it. Now get the fuck out of my house.
Well, I was about to say, yeah, when you're 18 and you're not in my house, then fuck yeah.
Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. No, but I mean, I think, yeah.
When you're under my house, my rules. But I do want to raise Logan to be his own person. When it comes to religion, I do want him to question me and get me to explain.
Free thinkers.
When I was growing up, I was born and raised Catholic, and I was baptized, but none of it was by choice. It was all because my parents made me. Now I'm married. I used to not get married because I hated everything like that society told me to do. But now I'm married by choice. I had a kid by choice. It wasn't an accident. It was by choice. And now I'm back in the church, and it's by choice. It's my choice.
That's beautiful.
And that's beautiful. Yeah, and I want Logan to be able to have conversations about that. So
choice.
About choice. And for example, so things that I like versus what my kid is gonna like. So me, and I know you, we're huge Marvel fans.
Oh yeah, for sure. Shit.
Avengers, Doctor Strange, all that.
What if he hates Marvel?
Well, so I see one thing about my friends with kids that I see they do in their kids' room when they have a baby is they put all these posters or paint stuff that they want their kid to like, that they like. So if somebody likes a certain football team, they'll paint the big the football team and shit.
Whatever.
Like that. So I made the decision in Logan's room, we don't have anything hung up.
That's good.
It's a blank slate. It's a blank slate because I don't want to force what I like onto him. Like, you know what I mean? And if maybe he will like sports. See, I don't like sports. Maybe he'll love sports. Well, fuck yeah.
But that's the beauty of it, that you allow the safe space for him to grow up into whatever the fuck he wants to be. And I don't know about you, but even though my daughter, I mean, she's 3.5 months, but I can already see hints of her personality. I don't know, even though, I mean, she's still very young, but you if you're really open and you can see it, there's already, you can have a vibration on how they're going to be, right? I know that you already, with Logan, you can already see how he's going to be like, right? Just a little bit, right?
Logan's a wild man, dude.
He's gonna be a wild man.
Dude, actually, we got a video of it. We didn't even show him how to do this. I have these 2 drumsticks.
I saw it.
Practice pad. Yeah, he picked it up and just started doing it, and like I didn't even fucking show him. I'm like, oh god,
that's so fucking cool, man. He's gonna be a rock star.
I want him going down that path.
He's gonna be a rock star. Whatever you don't want, he's probably gonna want to have it. And like, you know what, Daddy, fuck that. But that's what I want to teach my daughter. She can you be free enough to follow your heart. Be brave enough to follow your heart, and don't follow the mainstream. Don't follow anybody. Experience it first.
And that's where like some of these liberals who, because I encourage everybody to listen to this, but if you are really far left liberal and you're listening to this,
you're probably not listening to this.
Right. No, you're probably not. You probably turned it off a long time ago. But if you're still listening, you're probably like, yeah, well, guess what? He's just because you talked all that shit about liberals, he's going to grow up and become a liberal. Well, you know what? First of all, if he does, I'll still love him no matter what.
Yeah.
I won't be happy about it. But number two, he's probably not going to be, because I'm going to encourage him to think for himself, because all these far left liberals, they don't fucking think for themselves. And that's the fucking problem.
Yeah. Yeah. That's exactly the same thing that people tell me, oh, but you hate religion. I don't hate religion. I just don't like dogma. I don't like dogmatic points of view. There's no room for free thinking. This is the way it is, and there's no other way about it. This is just how it is. But why? Because I say so. Well, fuck you. All right.
Don't get me wrong. At my church, there are so many good people. There's also fucking assholes. There's people that I like. I'm like, oh, you are the reason why I didn't go to church for so long, and you're the reason why.
Dude, how many wokesters and spiritual people are out there right now that they're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna smudge, and I took ayahuasca, and they're fucking idiots, man. They're like literally pussies, and they're just fucking idiots, and they're just, it's just ego. Oh, my chakras are not aligned. This conversation is so the vibe is so off. Plus today is retrograde, so I don't want to talk about it. It's a full moon. I can't deal with this shit no more. There's a lot of stupidity behind all these people as well. So,
fuck yeah.
But the point is, even if my daughter grows up to be like, I don't know, she wants to be a nun. Who the fuck am I to deny her that? But
what if she wants to be a dude?
Oh, well,
we won't talk about that.
But just like you say, like you said, that's not gonna happen based on the values and the relationship and the what she is absorbing from my wife and I. She's not gonna want to be any of that shit because her environment, of course, right? But I want to bring up, before we wrap it up, I want to bring up something that you mentioned about lying. Man, I'm 100% with you when it comes to that. I don't think lying is good. However, this is just recently, man. I recently discovered that it's not lying, but selectively choosing what to say and what not to say, what to share, what not to share.
Sure.
As a man, and this is coming as a man. I don't know if it's coming to you, man, because I've realized this, man. At least in my house, and even with my mom, when I share some of my problems, some of my things that I'm dealing with, could be financially, could be whatever the fuck, they over worry, like, oh my god. So sometimes I'm not lying, I'm just choosing not to say certain shit because I know that for the benefit of my family and for the relationship to work better, I'm not gonna share some things. I don't want to lie to my daughter, bro. I don't want to say, I'm not gonna share some of the things that I'm dealing with because she's a kid. She doesn't know how to deal with certain things. So I don't think that lying is necessarily bad, but I feel you when it comes to, being for truth. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
Well, no, I was going to say, like, honey, does this dress make me look fat? Like,
yes, bitch, you look fat.
No, and it never does. It never does. But which dress looks better, this one or this one? Like, I don't.
Let me talk to my friend, my image consultant, Pablo. Wait, hold on a second.
Yeah. Let me hold on. Let me get out this diagram on this book, and let me make sure it's all.
Okay, now. Now you know how to not lie. But I mean, you're on the same vibe, right? I mean, I get.
Yeah, well, and there's certain ages where there's only so much information that the brain can
process.
Can process, and I think it's the same spiritually and with us. Like, it took us going through certain things and becoming certain ages to be able to process information that we read like differently, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm trying to say. I guess some of the books that I read now, if I read those books back when I was a punk, it would have gone over my head, and I wouldn't even like.
It's like fuck this shit. Yeah, but I think the core is communication, right? You wanna build communication with your kid, right? They wanna feel safe that they can say whatever the fuck they want to say to you, because when they don't feel safe, that's when they start lying, right? Like, oh man, I have to lie to my father, otherwise I'm gonna fucking get it. So like, hey, you know what? I fucked up, daddy. What's up? It's better to come off, strong and just fucking say it, and then you'll get mad, but you'll never reprimand your kid for speaking the truth, or at least with me, I'm never gonna fucking do it, right? Because you're speaking truth.
Yeah.
I was gonna say something that I forgot. As you were saying something and it popped into my mind. What was it, man? Oh, I just had it right here. Ooh, fuck. It'll come back to me.
Okay.
Man.
Hey, so here's something I want to talk about. Like, and I mean, shit, we can talk tonight.
Yeah, we can begin to
24 hours. Yeah.
Yeah, fuck shit. We're good, right? But we can start wrapping this up. But until he comes back to me, because it was a good thought. God damn it. Anyway, let's start wrapping this up. What did you want to say?
What was the hardest struggle, like for you personally, when you had your baby?
Oh, I just remembered. Okay, and actually, it ties a little bit with this. Well, realizing the traumas that were unhealed within me, that growing up without a father, I thought I was already over it. Like, well, yes, I grew up without daddy. Fuck it. But then, boom. Okay, I don't know how to be a fuck. I don't know how to be a dad. I don't know shit about this. Fuck. I have no like past experiences. Like I have nothing to compare it with.
Yeah.
Nothing, because literally no example, no uncles, no nothing. So I was like, oh man, how the fuck am I going to do this? Oh shit. So I started learning a lot about psychology. I not recently, because I've been studying psychology for a long time, but recently I dived in deeper into psychiatry and psychology, to study traumas and to study how the brain, not only the mind, because the mind, it's a whole different thing. It's not just the brain, but how the brain works. And what I wanted to bring up is, I don't know if you're familiar with this, the what's it called? I wrote it down, and I recently did my masterclass healing trauma, and I talk about this. The brain, it's a frontal part of the brain that deals with maturity and how to cope with things, right? How to basically be mature, and that doesn't develop until you are 26 years old, man. 24 to 26 years old. That's when it actually fully develops, this frontal part of the brain that I forgot the name, but that's why I did my masterclass. If you want to learn more, then go fucking buy it. God damn it. a little sales,
shameless plug. Yeah.
But it's that's why most of the things, because you just said it, if you read the books that you're reading right now when you were younger, you would be like, the fuck out of here. It doesn't make sense to me. And that's why it's very important to keep evolving and keep feeding the mind, because you're really not mature until you are older than 26 years old. And I'm not talking about it from a moral standpoint or from anything. It actually has to do with the brain. The brain is not fully developed until you are 26 years old. And that to me was like, whoa, that's fucking crazy. So imagine all the things that, what happens is, all of the experiences that you have, some of the things that you may thought were not traumas, that because of my daughter, because of becoming a father, I realized that were actually traumas, unhealed traumas within me, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh man, I don't want to pass that to my daughter. I know that she's going to have her own traumas, but at least I don't want to pass on the unhealed part within me. I want to heal myself fully, or to the best of my ability, so that I don't pass on the same bullshit that I had to deal with onto her. She's going to deal with at least some new bullshit, not the same old bullshit that my generations were dealing with. You know what I'm saying? And it's something that happened with me when I became a father. Like, oh man, how many people, how many dudes are not even aware of their traumas or their shadow selves? There's just the subconscious mind, a lot of unhealed things over there, just right at the back of your mind, and you don't even pay attention to them, and they come back to you. They'll get you.
Yeah. No, that's
What
really
about you?
That's good. Yeah, no, for me, got me thinking now, Pablo. I'm like,
oh shit.
Oh shit. That's good though. No, that's really good.
How does that make you feel?
Oh,
wait. Let me get serious.
Get out your notepad. It's gonna, yeah.
Oh. Yeah. How does that make you feel? Interesting.
It makes me feel like,
like, Daddy didn't love me.
For me, it was I went through like the first like 3 months. Well, those were hell because we didn't have any sleep. Like no.
Oh well, yeah, that
was a challenge. But in addition to that, I was always used to. What are you doing? I was always. Oh,
no, look at my underbag.
Oh, the bag's under. Oh shit.
Damn.
Is she sleeping through the night yet?
Yeah, I mean, the discipline, especially with me, I'm very, very disciplined. I'm like, we have to do the routine. So now recently she started sleeping, going to bed from, I don't know, like about 9:30, literally just being dead. And she wakes up at 6 a.m., 5:30, 6 a.m. So that's a long gap. So we can actually sleep. But I think there's something called the 4-month regression or some shit like that. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure. So she's going back to, waking up, and it's pretty interesting. It's something that has to do with the mind and how they're developing themselves. Because, through the night, we wake up multiple times. Us as grown-ups, but we don't know, we just grow up. When we're adjusting the body, we're waking up. But our brain learns how to shut that off, so that you don't remember that you were actually throughout the entire night. You wake up like 6 times, 5 times, something like that, but your brain shuts it off. The brain of a toddler, right, of a 3.5-month-old, doesn't know how to do that. It's just this is new to her. So she wakes up because she's like, I don't know, she wants to fart or something like that. So she's like, she starts crying, and I'm like, oh man. So she's just learning how to deal with that shit.
Yep.
Man, it's hard. It's
hard. So for me, the hardest part. So the no sleep was crazy, and I felt like a loony.
Oh man,
I am kind of loony, but but the hardest part for me personally that like I had to like really cope with was I've always been the kind of person where if I want to do something, I go and do that when I want to do it, and that goes back to kind of being selfish before you have a kid and not realizing. So like, okay, I want to read a chapter from my book. Okay, I'm going to go upstairs and read a chapter. I want to go meditate or go to the gym. Okay, I'm going to go do that. I want to go whatever. Yeah, exactly. Pump some iron. Oh, Pablo, you working on it?
Come on, baby. Good. Look at this, my boy.
Oh shit.
You much.
Yeah. So that was a huge thing for me. Was no longer being able to do whatever I wanted whenever I wanted. And there's like a 3-month period where I couldn't even do anything I wanted. And I stopped
even taking a shit.
Yeah, even taking a shit. Shower.
I mean, I miss taking a shit whenever I want. Hey, I want to take a shit. No, you can't. You have to hold the baby. Oh, dude. God. Yeah. Okay, so I see it in a way. Yeah. But
I'm talking about this because everybody, and I'll finish. I'm talking about it because everybody always shows the good side and how beautiful that kid is, and it's the most wonderful thing. Your life's complete afterwards. Like, no, motherfucker, there is a lot. No, there's a lot of baggage that comes with it, and we're not saying this to make people not want to have a kid. We're just saying this is the passage that you go through when you're going through. So what were you gonna say? Sorry.
I see it. I don't know if you see it in the same way, but I see it like something died in me. Like. I had to to say goodbye to a version of Pablo, right? Like that Pablo does not longer exist, and I'm still struggling with seeing this new version, like the dad Pablo, like, god damn, I'm a dad now, oh father. What does that even mean? Like, what's the new version of me? Because yeah, I can't go to the gym, can't box anymore, I can't do the things that I was doing, and I know that it's gonna be like that for a long time, because man, kids are just, they absorb everything from you, your energy, your time, every fucking aspect of you. So I saw it like, I don't know, it's like a funeral, right? I'm grieving, like, okay, goodbye, old Pablo. Shit, it was good 30 years, good 32 years, man. Goodbye. I don't know if it was like that for you, man, but
no, it definitely was. That's actually, I didn't think of that in terms like that, but that is a really good analogy. It is definitely saying goodbye to your older self, and
it's hard saying goodbye.
Yeah, it's interesting, and the energy. So yeah, even when friends come over, or like, not my friends, my wife's friends, because I don't have any, but when the ones that don't have kids come over and they're just watching Logan for a second, they're like, man, just watching him makes me tired. And I'm like, I know, just like,
I know, motherfucker. Yeah,
you have to, like, really, your attention is always there.
Your energy. Like, yeah. Like, literally, you can get, I didn't know that you can get tired from doing nothing, just holding a goddamn baby. I did literally nothing. I get exhausted. Like, oh,
and time goes differently. Time.
Oh yeah, I'm like inside of a loop, like Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Dormammu, I've come to bargain. I'm to bargain. I'm trapped in a loophole. I'm trapped in that. I don't know what my name is. I don't know what day it is. I don't know what time it is. Yeah, no, it's fucking hard, man. It is fucking hard. But that's the beauty of it, because not everyone has the balls to become a father. Because I love that you mentioned it. Everyone is so selfish now. So they don't have the courage to be selfless. Because this is not about me. This is not about you and I anymore. All it matters is our kids.
The movie, Pablo was the main character of the movie, but now Pablo's no longer the main character. Now Pablo's handing the torch down to the new character.
But that's fucking hard, man. That's fucking, I mean, I'm still struggling with it. I gotta tell you, man. You too? Goddamn, I thought it got better. Yeah.
No. I mean, it does get better. It does.
Tell me that it gets better, man.
With it. Yeah. What's that?
Tell me that it gets better. Please tell me that
it definitely gets better. But as you go along, it'll get better. And I heard that kid number 2, kid number 3, it actually is easier with.
I saw that. There's a statistic that shows that marriages that have other kids tend to stay longer together, not because of the kid, but like the dynamic changes than if you just have one or something like that. Because it's, I want to bring that up also, that your relationship gets tested as well. The marriage gets tested again and again and again. I'm like, we thought, the whole pregnancy, it was beautiful. It was one of the most beautiful things ever.
Dude, it was
more beautiful. We were more together than ever. I was taking care of her. It's just magical. And then boom, again, we're still struggling, readjusting not only ourselves with who we are as parents. Like, I'm no longer the Pablo that I used to know. I'm a new fucking Pablo. Shit. And now our relationship has changed as well. Oh man, it's fucking hard. Fuck.
It's a test. And to me, I mean, that's why it goes back to the very beginning of this podcast, the masculinity aspect, because to me, this is a very whole different passage to manhood, right? I mean, there were different steps that brought us to our manhood, but this one was a big one, and probably the biggest one of our lives. And I don't think, people who don't have kids, they'll never even begin to comprehend.
No,
and I'm not pretending like it's all butterflies, because a lot of people say, oh, it's the most wonderful thing in the world. Like, I mean, it is, but you got to take the good with the bad. Like, there's a lot of challenging aspects to it. It's a
hard.
challenge.
It's hard, and it shows you parts of yourself that you didn't even know you had. Like some nasty, deep wounds and some nasty thoughts, some evil shit even that you have within you because you hate your kids as well. I mean, you love them,
Right.
you fucking hate them. Like, oh, man. Sometimes she's
Stop
crying. I want to smack her and like, shut the fuck up, goddammit. So you get tested, your patience.
Oh,
and dude, I'm supposed to be like meditation and all that. Fuck that.
It's testing you, man. Putting it all in practice. So, dude, has this ever happened to you when you wake up in the middle of the night because baby's crying? You got to change the diaper. Well, you're changing the diaper, but they're moving their legs. They're getting the shit everywhere. And then you change another diaper, and then the shit gets everywhere. And you're like, I'm fucking too tired for this bullshit.
Yeah.
You're like a
can't even see straight. I can't even see
straight.
I mean, I'm barely conscious, and I'm doing this shit. This like operation, like, dude, oh wait, what the fuck am I doing? Oh yeah, I've had shit all over me. I mean, of course. God, it's fucking hate it, man.
It's like it's almost like a comedy, like a circus, like
that's how I see it. Because when times get really tough with my daughter, and I'm like, I can't handle this no more, man. Like I need to get the fuck out of here, or I'm gonna die. And then I picture myself watching this from above, like, oh man, this is a funny scene. This would be in a sitcom. This is some funny shit. Look at you, motherfucker. Yeah. But it tests you, and
the baby's like, yeah, daddy, clean my shit.
yeah, motherfucker, take that. Seriously, I think sometimes she's just like, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna fuck shit up. Everything's cool, but I'm just gonna start crying. I'm gonna start to cry. Yeah, motherfucker. Oh man, dude, at least with my daughter, she can't. I mean, she can be right here next to me. I just changed her diaper. She just ate whatever. She's perfect, right? And I'm doing something with my phone or watching TV or whatever, reading a book, she starts crying. She can handle it. The moment I see her, I turn back to her. She's like, and she smiles. She's like, you can't do it. I mean, she disarms you they disarm you with their smile, right? They know how to fucking control you. They're like, hey, daddy, what's up?
Yep. So a couple months into it, when I was like really like losing my mind, like I was just like, oh my God, I don't know if I can do this. Then finally one night, but then finally one night, it was the first night he smiled, and it was late as fuck. It was like 2 a.m. or something, and I was tired as shit, but he smiled at me, and I was like,
and you're like, oh.
I was like, okay, all right.
I was about to kill you, but all right, you cute. Yeah. It's that way. I'm like, I'm about to like choke her. I'm like, shut the fuck, and I turn her, and she's like, what's up, daddy? And I'm like, okay. So I have to look at her all the time. She's so goddamn demanding. Shit. I'm like that. So I can't say shit. I'm always like, hey, you pay attention to me. When I'm talking, you fucking pay attention to me, motherfucker.
Yeah, she gets super doing anything else. There you go.
Yeah. That's what my wife tells me. Like, oh man, that she gets it from you, man.
Yeah.
It's fucking hard. But I think I'm becoming a way better person, not just as a man, as a male, but I'm becoming a way better person from being a dad. It's I don't want to sound like make it romantic like most people do. You just said it, that it's all sunshines and rainbows. It's the most beautiful thing. No, it's not. It's actually pretty rough, and giving birth, the experience of it was fucking traumatic as well. I was like, what the fuck? We were tired. Man, she was.
It reminds me of Lord of the Rings when the orcs.
10 hours of labor, man. 10 fucking hours of labor. God damn. I mean, it was hard on her as well, of course. Well, more on her, but I didn't fucking sleep. I didn't fucking eat anything. It was fucking hard for both of us. So this whole process is a big slap in the face, and that's why I love putting myself to the test to see if I'm really there. And this is a whole new test. I'm totally outside of my comfort zone, and I love that, man. I don't know about you, but I fucking love being outside of my comfort zone, not knowing what the fuck I'm doing. I'm probably never gonna know what I'm doing, but I'm figuring it out as I continue to grow. some of the things that I can say, maybe as a new father of a 3-month old, some of the teachings that I've got is love always prevails. I wasn't aware of that. Everyone talks about love, but then I realized, man, shit, I think love is the fucking key of everything. I never experienced this type of love ever before. The love that you have for your kid,
Yeah.
it's I don't know, it's undescribable. Whenever you see your kid, probably whenever you see Logan, it's like it's a love that it's the purest form of love, man.
I would die for him, no doubt. I mean,
of course, it's undescribable.
Yeah.
Only parents know. Only parents know.
Yeah.
And and I become more resilient. I didn't know that the human body could not eat and sleep for 24 hours and still continue to function properly. Oh shit, I'm stronger than I know. Fuck.
Dude, yeah. What else? It's just it's so much.
There's so much to talk about, man. There's so much.
I mean,
we gotta do this again, man. We fucking gotta do this again.
Well, I'm thinking like either like starting a new podcast or doing something
about that as well.
Yeah,
it could be cool. It could be cool too.
Yeah, is there a way we could like make a podcast where we both have access to the account? I guess we could talk about this when we're not on the air.
Yeah, But yeah, we can definitely do it. We can co-host a whole new podcast and shit. Yeah, that sounds cool, man. That sounds cool. So to wrap it up and to finish it, what are your last thoughts on, I don't know, parenthood, being a man, being a dad? I don't know. Last thoughts or anything? I mean, the war in Ukraine.
Last thoughts are just do it. Just do it. Just do your duty.
Yeah.
Do your duty. And I know I recently spoke to an acquaintance who recently got married, and he was saying that I said, cool, well, I know I'm gonna sound like an asshole because everybody in your family's probably asking you, but are you guys gonna have kids now that you're married? And he is like, yeah, I mean, we kind of want to, but he's like, I kind of don't want to. And I said, why don't you want to? And he said, because I'm scared to death of it. And I said, dude, first of all, we all are.
It is scary.
I was too. And then I said, well, what are you scared of? And he said, I'm scared that he said, my dad was such an asshole growing up. Like, he was abusive. And I'm just afraid that I will be that too. And I said, dude, the very fact that you even are telling me this shows me that you are going to not be that. You're going to rise above that. So
just because you're thinking about it.
Do it, man. Do it. Just do it.
Just do it. All right, motherfucker. Just fucking do it. Don't overthink it. Just fucking do it.
Just fucking do it. I mean, to me, that's embracing your manhood right there, or don't do it.
Action.
If you really don't want to. But I think the reason of being scared is not a good enough reason. You know what I mean? Like, if there's young men out there like our age or younger that are not doing it because they're scared, I don't think that's a good enough reason.
Yeah. I feel you. Yeah. I don't know what to say for last thoughts because I have a lot of shit on my mind. Right. But just to wrap it up and to finish this, I don't know, man. Reconnect with your parents, right? And forgive them. Forgive yourself for growing up in whatever fucked up environment you grew up with. And we all grew up fucked up. Even if you had a perfect family, you had some fucked up shit.
Perfect families are the most fucked up.
Yeah, they're the most fucked up. Yeah,
fucking psychopaths. Yeah, they're so goddamn.
Forgive yourself. It's to say, you know what? Embrace it. Forgive yourself, and then forgive your parents because they didn't know any better. It was different times. Probably they were not trying to fuck you up, at least consciously. So it takes a real man to come up with this realization saying, you know what, I forgive you and it's fine and I love you as you are. I don't want to change you and you did your best and that's it. And I think that lays the foundation to take the next step, which is being a father, being a true man, which is what the world needs right now. The world needs more dads. You sent me a video that was beautiful. Dads coming together for a school. You remember that? and keeping the school together, keeping the whole community of young kids, telling them what to do, and the dad jokes and all that shit. I think the world needs more dads. Literally, the world. What we need right now is no more gender fluid motherfuckers, no more wokesters, liberals. No, fuck that. We need more dads. We need structure. We need discipline. We need smacking the fucking behind it. Like, yeah, do your goddamn homework. Do your duty, goddamn it. Last but not least, tell me a dad joke.
Dad, hold on. Let me get my book.
Yeah. That's how we're going to close up the show, with a dad joke.
Pablo, that is a genius idea. I think that is genius right there.
That's what we're going to close. That's what we're going to open. That's what we're going to close. Yeah.
World's greatest dad jokes. All right. I don't want to find it too much. There's some really shitty ones in here.
It's okay, man. It's okay.
Right. Okay. Why is grass so dangerous?
Why, Joe?
Well, Pablo, because it's full of blades.
Oh, shit. Come on, man. I love it. It was a pleasure talking to you, my brother. We'll definitely have to do this again, and probably we're going to start our own podcast doing this. I mean, let us know what you think. I don't know. All right?
Yeah. Let us know what you think in the comments below.
Hey, oh no, get the fuck out of here. All right, man.
All right. Hey, dude, have a good night, man. And we'll be in touch, brother.